Hello, I'm Frances, and this is a quick video to explain a little about recording data on children or household members in EmpowerDB. For the purpose of simplicity, I'm going to refer to the main client as the client or parent and the family or household member as the child. However, if you're running a children's advocacy program or something similar, your main client might actually be the child and the secondary client would be the parent. Everything still functions in exactly the same way in this situation. The only difference would be the terminology used. So, first of all, it's important to understand that there are two different ways that you can capture data on children in the database. If you just want to record that your client has a child and capture some limited information about them, such as their name and age, then you would do this via a basic child entry. This is what you see when you go to add a new client and select one or more children dependents in the drop-down box. This section is completely personalizable, and you can decide which specific pieces of information you would like to collect about children in your database. Basic child entries are not clients. You cannot record activities for them, and they do not count towards funder reports. Basic child entries are really just a note to let you know that the person you are supporting has a child or multiple children, so that you can take this into consideration when managing their case, or just to give you a simple count of how many children your clients have in total. The second option for recording data on children is to upgrade their child entry to a full client entry, which will remain linked to the parent's record. This is what you would do in situations where you would like to be able to record services that were directly provided to the child themselves. So, let's take a look at this in action. I've created two programs for us to use here. We have DV Support, which is a non-residential program, and DV Shelter, which is a residential program. As DV Support is a non-residential program, I'd like to see the names of the children in my program list, so I've chosen yes here, but I don't think that I'm going to be directly providing services to the majority of my clients' children. Therefore, in this case, I've selected no for automatically upgrade children to full clients. For my DV Shelter program, which is a residential program, I probably am going to be providing direct services to the child, so I've chosen here that I would like to automatically upgrade children to full clients. This means that when I add a new client and I record a little bit of information in the basic child info section, that will then automatically be upgraded to a full client when I select Add Client. So, let's go ahead and add a client to the DV Support program, our non-residential program. So here we're going to add Mary. Mary has two children called Bobby and Jane. Okay, so when I add Mary to my DV Support program and I go to my program list, I can see her name here in blue and I can see Bobby and Jane underneath in black. What you can see here is Mary's name I can click on. When I click on her name, it will take me to her basic client information page. The children's names I cannot click on. This is because they are not clients, so they do not have basic client information pages that I can be taken to. Let's say Bobby starts receiving counselling services from my organisation. In that case, I need to upgrade him to become a full client, but I'd like him to remain linked to his mum's record. To do that, I click on the mum's name, I go to her basic client information page, scroll down and find Bobby's basic child entry, which is here, If I click on the right, I can select Modify Entry and Upgrade to Client Entry. Now when I click Upgrade to Full Client, this will take me to Bobby's own client record. So he now has his own client information page because he now exists in the database as a client. I would need to go back in here and complete his non-residential intake, and I can then record any activities, any services that I provided to him, referrals that I've made for him. Bobby would also count for any relevant funder reports because he now exists as a client. And you can see at the top here that he remains linked to his mother's record. When I go back to my program list, you can see that I'm now able to click on Bobby, and that lets me know that he is a full client in the database. His sister Jane remains a basic child entry, so Mary and Bobby are both clients. They will count towards funder reports, but Jane will not. Okay, so let's have a look at the residential program now. I'm going to add a new client to my shelter program. His name is Simon. And he has 2 children. Called Sophie and Brian. Okay, so I've set this program to automatically upgrade any basic child entries because it's a residential program, and the most likely is that these children are going to be moved in to the residential program with their parent. So when I click on my residential program list, I can see the dad here, Simon, with his 2 children underneath. Okay, so they are clickable. Everyone's clickable here because each individual has their own client information page. If I click on Sophie's name, that's going to take me to her basic client info page. Okay, and if I click on Brian, the same thing will happen. You can see Simon, the dad, is up here at the top, and you can see that Brian, his son, is linked to him. For residential programs, it's really important to remember that the move-in information does not copy over automatically from the parent. Okay, so when we look on our DV shelter program, Simon, the dad, has his move-in date and the room that he's staying in completed. Sophie and Brian do not have that information completed at the moment because this has to be completed in their individual record. So if I click on Sophie's name, and then I go and complete the child residential intake form, which is the intake form that I use for my children in a residential program, I can just copy the move-in information from her dad, click Save Changes here, and when I go back to my DV shelter overview, I'll see that Sophie now appears in black. She's got her move-in information completed, and so she would now count towards a funder report. Brian currently would not count towards a funder report because his move-in information has not been completed. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of the different ways of recording information about children in the database. If you have any questions or queries about that, please just let us know via the support system and we'll be more than happy to help. Thanks very much.